Alright guys, what's up and welcome back to another Diablo 3 how-to guide. We're going to be going over companions, followers, I guess. I'm going to give you kind of the strategy for using followers in Diablo 3 in the game and also while leveling, and kind of give you some of the specifics around, how to gear them and just kind of what to expect whenever you start trying to stack stats on all of them. Alright, so starting off, we got the Enchantress here. She's going to be using Int, right? Intelligence. And then we have the Templar, he's a strength class, and then Scoundrel is going to be dex class, right? And all of them can wear very specific pieces of gear, like the Enchantress. If you actually, you can go into your follower here, and if you hover over their weapon, you can see that the Enchantress can use stabs, daggers, spears, axes, swords, and maces. And of course, this bro over here, he doesn't even have any gear. But he can use one-handed spears, one-handed axes, swords, maces, and daggers. You can have your crap weapon back. And then, as you can expect, the Scoundrel use two-handed crossbows and bows. He didn't even have a weapon. I probably stole it when I was leveling this. And just like normal classes, all of those abilities will affect their other stats. So like strength is going to increase armor, intelligence is going to increase damage and elemental resistances, and then vitality is increased life and hit points and all that good stuff. Also, you get details right here. You can kind of get a little sheet almost like yours, but just kind of going over some of these stats and how they actually affect everything. Followers will receive around 2.5 times more strength, dexterity, and intelligence and vitality per stat. You can also respec your follower at any time too, just by kind of moving, clicking skills around, right? But obviously she gains access to all skills, so I don't really get to respec on her. Alright, next up, what do we got? They're all able to equip, the jewelry pieces, and then a weapon, and then their specific item. And with the exception of like the Templar, he can have a shield. And all their tokens, I guess you could call them, can give them. You can either have, the immortal token, which they can't die, or like this one, you can they gain access to all skills, or there's also another one where their cooldowns get like 50% reduction. The most important thing to note about followers is crit, right? Followers have no innate crit. Like if you start a new character in Diablo 3, you're gonna have some level of crit chance, crit damage, right? But followers have none of that. And furthermore, there's a hard cap on crit damage at 150%. Once that hit is reached, all extra crit damage is just wasted. If you can manage to stack crit chance, crit damage on all three jewelry pieces, then you get to that cap, you're actually better off putting a ruby in the weapon socket rather than an emerald. So keep in mind, if you're trying to stack for like leveling or whatever, just make sure if you're at cap, you start moving stuff around. Putting an emerald in there is just going to give you cap anyway, so probably just not do that at all. Next up, what benefits do the followers give the player? Followers will share 20% of their magic find, gold find, and experience with the player. That's why you'll see people leveling, they'll throw like Leoric's Signet on, and you can also, they also benefit a little bit from Hellfire Ring and Amulet and stuff like that. But there's also diminishing returns, just like on the player. Like if you start adding a bunch of like, experience gear, then you'll see the numbers diminishing in the percentages. Also in regards to crit damage, if you want your follower to be providing a lot of crit for you, then you are better off going with the Templar because they all have a hard cap that they can reach based on the types of gear that they can use. So you'll see that the Templar actually can get around 34% crit, and this is a crit chance, by the way. The Scoundrel can get up to 23.8, almost 29, and then the Enchantress is, she gets up to like 22% on crit chance. All right, what else? Followers do not gain benefits from set bonuses or legendary gems, but they will actually benefit from legendary abilities like the Maximus here. This will actually work on her, so she gets a Chain Demon. One of my favorite items to use on the followers is the S of Johann. Chance to hit to pull enemies towards the target and slow them, which is towards your mouse cursor. So if you're already playing a build that needs a group of people, putting this on your follower will occasionally enable them to actually help you pull in As far as rings go, I usually lean towards like Leoric Signet here or whatever. And like you can see on mine, I have a 0.5% bonus experience. If I take Leoric Signet off of her, I actually drops to 0. So I do get a slight bonus from having that on her as well. The big use of companions and in the end game, as far as like you were talking like, you know, Torment 13 and like GR60 plus, is the use of Unity, right? What people do is they'll put a Unity ring on their follower, and then they'll either cube or wear Unity on their character, and then they'll put the token that makes the follower immune or immortal. So it'll basically double your toughness, because the way Unity works is it splits damage between the wearers of the ring, and if your follower can't die, then math, right? That's the biggest use for companions in the late game, because their damage is very, very poor when you get up to that sort of level. But while you're leveling, they can actually be a great resource in getting bonus experience, gold find, magic find, and just some utility as well. I'm not necessarily going to go through all of the skills for each one of the followers, but I'll kind of go over ones that I use the most. And I usually lean towards the Enchantress on almost everything. And I like using Focus Mind, and increases attack speed, because I usually play a Demon Hunter. And then you, based on whatever you're doing, you can kind of like look at these and, you know, configure your follower the best way you see fit. And on the Templar, you can see I like to use Inspire for resource generation. And then on the Scoundrel, come here, Scoundrel, is the crit chance is 1.8. So now we're going to talk about gear stats that are effective on followers. Things like elemental damage bonuses, or cooldown reduction, area damage, or versus elite stuff. Now, any sort of like resource based stat will not work on them, because they don't have a resource. And also movement speed will not actually affect them either, because they're always going to be traveling at the same speed as the player. Another two very effective items to use on a follower are the Oculus Ring and Overwhelming Desire. They can boost the player's damage by special effects, and considering when you get late into the game, the follower damage is pretty bad. It's good to actually, you know, kind of get damage boost from your follower for like glass cannon builds and stuff like that. But anyway, guys, that's pretty much it for the follower. Not very customizable, but a lot better than it was in Diablo 2. But if you enjoyed this video and you want to see more Diablo 3 content, or just Diablo content in general, hit that subscribe button. If this was informative and you enjoyed the video, hit the like button. It really means a lot to me. And until next time, I'll see you guys later, and thank you for watching.